I want to go over my no jigsaw method for installing a router plate or lift into your router table, maybe that you've made in the shop. And I've done this time and time again, and it always comes out really nice. Actually, I thought this is the way everyone did it, but watching videos of other folks try this, they'll use a jigsaw and there's a lot of sanding and filing, and this method kind of skips all that, so it's a really nice, clean approach. Let's get into it. So the goal is to take a blank shop-made top. This one is 1.5 inch MDF. That works. Otherwise you can do 1 inch MDF or 1 inch Baltic birch plywood. Those are all good options. And with my particular routing technique, it leaves a fairly wide lip here, about 3/4 inch wide there, and then a little extra meat in the corners here, just for your threaded insert to help with mounting, but that will give you a nice fit without much fuss at all. A little bit of room there to flush things up with your leveling screws, so let's get to work on cutting that recess. Now, I made my own template just because I like to use 3/4 inch material, and I tend to make them full size to match the project, so that's what's easier for me to give extra room for clamping. But if you want to skip this step, you could certainly buy a pre-made template. You'll also need a spacer, something that matches the thickness of your template, as well as some hardwood scraps that have been planed to about 3/8 of an inch thick. That's the depth of our rabbet that we'll be cutting. And those will be useful in a later step, as well as these little corner blocks that are cut from the same material. Attach your template with both carpet tape and clamps, and we'll flip that guy over and get that attached. Here's where the full-size template helps a little bit. You don't have to work too hard to get things aligned. Just drop it down. And add some clamps where they won't be in the way of your router. A couple more back here to hold the template down, wouldn't hurt. Here, this spacer block is cut a total of 2 3/4 inches smaller in both directions than the opening. And what you want to do is a little bit of carpet tape to hold that down. The corners are knocked off there, but the dimension on that is not critical. So go ahead and roughly center it in your opening and press that in place. And that'll provide the critical support when we go to start our routing, so it just won't get tippy. And I think that's one of the biggest mistakes people make, is they just don't set themselves up for success by giving a little extra support there. And this extra space in the corner is useful for a couple things. Right now, it's going to help us when we're kind of scrubbing in to start that plunge cut with our bearing guided bit. It'll give us an open space to do that. Now, the router plate is 3/8 of an inch thick, so our finished depth of cut will be 7/16. So count for the thickness of your template, 3/4 in this case, plus a 7/16 spacer. That'll be our final depth, and we'll get there in 2 passes. Just make sure that the first pass, you're also contacting the template with your bearing. So for my first pass, it'll look something like that. I'll cut, a little better than halfway to my finished depth. And that bit, by the way, is 3/4 diameter and a 3/4 inch cutting length. It works well with a 3/4 inch MDF template. This one happens to be a white side, but I'll pop a link down in the description if you need one. So that's the first pass of trimming that outside edge where you go in a clockwise direction, but now we want to get this waste cleaned up that's adjacent to this scrap piece, and since we're following this edge, we'll actually go counterclockwise for that. Okay, that's looking pretty good for the first pass, and for the second pass, we'll cut a little bit deeper and do that same process. Now's a good time to check that your collet hasn't loosened at all on your router, and we'll make that final pass. And same thing this way, clockwise around the outside perimeter, and then counterclockwise once you're cleaning up the waste. So if your cut looks good at this point, you can go ahead and remove the template as well as the spacer, and we'll move on to the next step, which is setting up for cutting out the central opening. I use that Woodworker's double-sided tape, and it usually comes off without too much fuss. Before you do anything else, just take a second to just touch the edges with a little piece of sandpaper, and that way once you install your router plate or lift and you pull it back out, it's not going to chip out your laminate. And then we'll grab those hardwood strips we made up earlier. These are just 3/4 wide by 3/8 of an inch deep. I've actually mitered off the ends of these long strips just to protect the corner curve there. So we'll just drop those into position. You could carpet tape them in if you want, but I usually don't until I get to the corner blocks, and those I will secure with a little bit of carpet tape. These have kind of a friction fit the way I've cut them, so just like that. Then I'll do a little bit of carpet tape on these corner blocks and drop those in like so. And the critical part of the routing has already been done, so this is just to remove the opening without having to use a jigsaw. Okay, so different router setup now. I'm doing 4 of these tabletops today, so I'm setting up a second router just to save time, but this one will use a 1/4 inch spiral bit. Doesn't much matter whether it's upcut or downcut, just a regular 1/4 inch carbide spiral bit, and then a guide bushing that's slightly larger than that bit. And that's what this setup looks like with a plunge router, and I can just take my time and remove that central section of the table in 2 to 3 passes so I don't bog down the motor. Now the beauty of this technique to me is that you keep router support most all the time. Now we're going to make one final depth adjustment, and at the end of that cut the center of course will fall out, so you have to be careful for that and direct the pressure to the outside router handle, but other than that it's a really nice technique and there's just no wobbling around with that router. Okay, so that centerpiece is falling out now, and this is actually a pretty consistent cut, much better than a jigsaw cut for sure. But I like to take it one step further and just use a flush trim bit. I only need a 3/4 inch ledge or shelf there anyway, so just one final step and we'll have it. And that's the bit I use for this step, big 1.5 inch long infinity bit, but really any flush trimming bit you have will work fine. Whew. No dust collection on that fixed base, so don't mess around with that MDF dust. And so that's it. You can just pull your little corner blocks and strips off and see how you did with the fit. But boy, if you made your own template like I did, it's almost guaranteed that you're going to have a nice fit. So I've done this enough times where I don't stress about it anymore, and I think it's this particular process that helps with that. Nice. I mean, no gap either way, just enough depth there for a little bit of adjustment with my set screws, and I should be good. So if you want results like that, I would recommend this process. It takes a few extra steps, but boy, I think it's really well worth it. This is the new Jessam Router Lift 3.5 XT. I'll put that one down in the description box if you want to check out the specs on it, because they just came out with it. But this one looks like it'll level up quite nice. A little bit of fine tuning and I think I'll have it, but it is nice that you can make those adjustments from the top side. All right, let me just point out 2 quick problems that some people run into routing an opening like this, and they're both to do with the router bit that you select. So let's check that out and then we'll wrap things up. Now many woodworkers start in and they cut directly into their router table top, thinking that their router bit is a good match for the radius of the plate. And you know, a typical router bit might be 1/2 inch or 3/4 diameter, but this curve is actually 1.5 inch diameter that you're looking for. So that will give you kind of a mismatched curve. It's a minor problem, your plate will still fit, but in order to get a really nice fit, you will want to use a template. And the second problem I see is failing to recognize that there's a difference in the diameter between the bearing and the carbide cutter itself. So on this particular Diablo bit, it's a 6 or 8 thousandths difference. So that just means that your plate will fit significantly tighter after you're done cutting. So some bits are different. My white side bit's only about 2 thou difference, and what I did to accommodate for that was when I was using the plate to make a template, I just put strips of painter tape around the edge, just one thickness of painter tape. That compensates for any difference between the bearing and the cutter, and you'll get a nice fit without any struggle. All right, guys and gals, thanks for sticking around and checking it out. I definitely appreciate you. And if you like today's topic, you could give me a quick thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I'd love to have you on board, The Thoughtful Woodworker. Now, I'll have links down in the description for you for some of the accessories and products that we use today. If you're maybe building your own router table, it's definitely worth a look.